When you say sexual harassment, how did all that even start?
Well, it just started when I began working in the nursing home. I believe one of the times he had, if you want me to go into detail,
Yeah, go into detail.
well, he had, I believe that he was struggling to pass urine because he had a catheter in and he was laying in supine position. And I asked him if he was struggling. He told me yes, he was. And he said, press down on this. And I can only say so much, you know.
Keep the microphone to you.
I can only say so much without violating HIP, you know what I'm saying. But it turned out that what I was pressing down on was his reproductive organ and not where his bladder was. And I thought it was where his bladder was, but it was not. And I found that out from one of my coworkers. And also, he would touch me, poke and prod in areas that were my private areas. You know, I reported that to the staff on multiple occasions, and they would tell me that it was the resident's right to do such things. So it eventually ended up getting to the point where he would ask me if I reported it. And, you know, I would tell him no, because I really didn't think that it was his business if I reported how he was harassing me. And he told me what happens in his room stays in his room, and it is in between him and the aide that's assisting him. And that he told the other staff that he didn't give a damn, you know? So
Without violating to the best of your ability, why was he there? Was this long-term care for him?
I do believe it's a long-term care facility. That's what I'm going to
Okay,
say.
so he was there for long-term care.
I do believe so.
So I can't help me understand, how did he become? How does a man just all of a sudden just decide that he's going to poke you in inappropriate areas?
Well, I don't think that he overtly on that day or with me decided that he was going to poke me in certain areas. I think that it was something that was allowed, and by allowed I do mean tolerated and not interrupted by
So
staff.
you wasn't the only one that reported this situation.
No, not at all.
So it was going, other women were also being subjected to this one particular person, or were these multiple individuals?
I can speak on that one particular person. And yes, multiple people had similar situations that were similar in nature to what I was dealing with, to the point where that person was a two-person assist. And
Two-person assist mean that they needed to have somebody to document his behavior.
more than one person had to be in the room at one time, is what I'll say. But it got to the point where he had disrespected so many people on the level that he had disrespected me, that there was never more than likely another person to come help. On very little of the occasions that I was in there was there another person that was actually willing to help me. There were people and aides that were available, but no one to really want to be there with.
I want you to take a breath, because I can see that this is still has an impact on you.
Oh, yes.
And I appreciate you taking time to come in and let's call it what it is. Bring awareness, not a whistleblower, but to bring awareness to what is going on right up under our noses. What I can't understand is, how can a director, even though information was provided on this particular patient, and it's clear that he may, or she may not be the only ones that have been doing this, that they haven't said anything or done anything to protect not even the staff, but the patients themselves.
It's not what they are supposed to do. That's what I'll say. And it's not what's legal to do. So
you
neglect.
You mean to tell me, I get it that they have rights, but the rights to violate somebody else's right, even if you're the caretaker, has its limitations. You're trying to tell me you guys basically don't have no limitations. They can do whatever the heck they want to do. They can touch you wherever they want to touch you, and they're protected.
Well, they went about as far as to say that to me, actually. They went about as far as to say that. They went about as far, not even about as far, but they did mention that we could call the police, and that the police wouldn't do anything about it. You know, they said that to us, a group of aides on my shift, you know. And that's not even as deep as it gets as far as the abuse that was happening in the facility, because it seems like things like that are a pattern and not just a once off. You know what I'm saying? So as far as that resident being sexually aggressive towards the aides, there are residents in the other residents in the facility. And you know, the difference between me and the elders is that I can stand up for myself. A lot of the elders in facilities do not have people or family to stand up for them or to speak for them. So they get completely taken advantage of in situations like that.